Tieri. This is Weapon Cross, issue number 14. And before I even start reviewing this comic, it would have been a mostly positive review. But we're going to see up front, Adverts. Whenever I review a Marvel comic from about 2005 or 2006, I always point out how many adverts there are and how it is obscene. Like 60% of the book is just adverts. Well, I now know that that is an improvement, because this one from 2003, after every comic page, it's an advert. Advert, 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 advert. This is the only page that doesn't feature an advert, and the reason for that is that it is making space for a double page advert. Every page an advert, 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 advert. It takes you out of the story completely. Every page, the story is being broken up by an advert. My other complaint is this story, which is a dark and depressing Holocaust story, it has got a pun for a title. It's incredibly inappropriate, and it's not just on the cover, it's on the credits page as well, and then on the first page. This is a largely flashback story. It is a retcon tale about Sinestro in World War II. It's written by Jose Quesada's friend from college, and that is also how he became a writer. I think this series, it's pretty all-round bad, but this issue is the highlight. In fact, if you fixed them two problems I have already listed, this would probably be a recommend. During the war, Sinestro, he was working alongside the Nazis as they allowed him to perform genetic experiments. Then one day, the Nazis, they were attacked by Seaman, and Sinestro, he was among them, and he was just fascinated by Seaman as a specimen, and he kind of like hangs back and he watches as Seaman beats them up. And then Captain Nazi, he fights Seaman, he draws blood, and Seaman says his catchphrase, Imperial Leather. That is what his Speedo is made of. And Sinestro, he retrieves Seaman's blood from the spear that Captain Nazi used. And he briefly gets told off by his superior Nazi man. But Sinestro just kills him and decides to part ways with the Nazis, since they are obviously losing the war and they no longer have anything to offer him. So he leaves with Seaman's blood, and then we get another origine. This is Scoutman from the Paraders. He is a traitor. He was an American soldier who turned on his own and started cutting their scalps off, like in that Clinton Tarantino film. And he has been sentenced to death by firing squad, which conveniently includes Samuel L. Jackson. And this stuff with Scoutman is great. Seeing his backstory is worthwhile. I didn't think we had ever seen it before. He survives his execution, and Sinestro tracks him down and recruits him as an ally, like to be his personal assassin, or basically be a servant, really. And here comes the Holocaust Express and the genesis of the awful pun title. Although, honestly, I think they came up with the pun first and then this story. Sinestro, he goes to a train station, and a train that is going to be sent to a concentration camp, and through blackmail he is able to free some of the would-be captives and take them away. But the twist is, obviously, he's not actually saving them. He is kidnapping them to be guinea pigs and test subjects for his deplorable acts of inhuman science. Using Seaman's blood and all these Jewish people he has captured, he creates kinda a clone of Seaman, and he wants to have his Seaman clone gone up against the real Seaman and prove superior. So he encounters the invaders, Seaman and the original human fire, and the clone monster thing, where he easily defeats them both. But then he is twatted in the head by Captain America's shield. And if I was going to say that something in this story could be immediately improved, it would be this fight sequence. It's very short, and the Seaman monster isn't really given much breathing space or room to actually fight. Like, he beats Seaman and the human fire really quickly, and then he gets beaten by Captain America just as fast, making the whole thing seem a bit silly and pointless. But Sinestro, he realises that he was wrong to focus so much on Seaman and think that Seaman was the perfect specimen, because an ordinary human like Steven Rogers can become Captain America, and he can beat Sinestro's Seaman monster quite easily. Now we have got an epilogue that is set in the then current day, and it shows Sinestro doing much of the same. He has kidnapped a bunch of people from a detention centre, and he is performing experiments on them. This ties in with the overall series. There was a mutie concentration camp. As I said in another video, Jose Quesada's friend. He's another writer who isn't very subtle. But it ends with a nice callback showing that Scalp Hunter is still with Sinestro. He's still loyal to him after all these years. I kind of like this comic. I have got some major gripes with it. The adverts, the title, this series as a whole. But the story here is good. It's not great, but it is good, or at least good enough. I rate it 7 thumbs up.